All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are here after the Las Vegas weekend. Pretty. Every driver this weekend pretty much just opened a can of whoop ass. That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, it was a. I don't know. The Sunday race was just pretty much William Byron's race at that point. I mean, nobody could
Yeah.
catch up with him.
Yeah, it was a interesting weekend. So I don't have a note card. Just for background context for the audience, we got a super tight schedule this week, and so usually I have like a little note card. We're gonna kind of fling this one fly by wire on today's podcast. But so yeah, Vegas second race on the West Coast swing. Um, this is why I need notes because I am lost. Anyway, any, you know what? Screw it. Let's talk about Trucks Friday night. Let's get the boat kind of rolling.
All right, trucks.
Truck Series, going into the Truck Series race, there were not even this race in particular, but this season, KBM during the off season making the switch to Chevrolet. A lot of people, even after Daytona, were saying that they weren't sure how much of a setback this was going to be for Kyle Busch and that whole team. And I guess Kyle Busch just made the switch seem like it was barely an inconvenience to him the way he went out this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the dude was just dominant all day today. And I think his driver finished eighth, which isn't too bad for him. But overall, I mean, yeah, like it seems like nothing's changed for them. They're just back to how it was last year, just a different manufacturer.
Yeah, picked up right where they left off, and that's winning races. Because Chase Purdy, he's been in trucks before because he was driving for the 9 team last year. I can't remember the name of that team off the top of my head.
Was
But
it
he
the
was in
9 or was
truck.
it the 61?
I think was it both? I don't know. I'm trying to remember who he drove for because I know he's been in trucks for a couple years at this point.
Yeah.
But
But
I
he
think
was
this is his first time in top or in higher end equipment.
Yeah, but he was in a Toyota, switched to Chevy too, so kind of the same boat as Kyle.
Okay.
But Carson Hocevar actually looked pretty strong that day. Kind of like the same thing as last year. He ran up front all day, had a pretty good car, but just couldn't get it done. Kyle was just a little bit faster than him. So,
Well, Carson Hocevar also spun, so take that into account too.
oh, I missed that.
Yeah, he was the one who backed into the wall in front of us. I'm pretty sure.
Was it?
Was that him or was that?
I think it was a
Allen?
41.
Let me look at my photos because I know somebody. I know it
Oh,
was
it
a
was a
Nice truck.
45.
It was a 40. Oh, so that was Lawless Allen then,
Yeah.
who backed into the wall in front of us. Okay. Okay, so I guess he just didn't have that strong of a truck. I was about to make a comment that he had a pretty good comeback after the spin, but I guess that wasn't him. I'm so used to host of our driving the super bright truck, so
Yeah.
that's my bad. This is also why I make notes usually, but it happens. So yeah, because he was pretty. Also, I want to talk about Nick Sanchez too. He qualified on the pole and was running pretty well, but he had some kind of contact at some point during the race, and that really set that team back. Ended up 30th after that.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of good trucks that were running pretty well that kind of got caught up in a wreck. One of them was John Hunter Nemechek, which, I mean, I thought he was pretty good that day. He was running pretty decent. Another one I would say is Hailie. I guess Hailie Deegan didn't really get a chance to shine, I would say.
Yeah.
She ran pretty good in qualifying, got qualified 5th. But then
Yeah.
kind of got shuffled back towards the beginning. Oh, excuse me.
That was pretty much the true with all the Thor Sport trucks, because for whatever reason it was, I don't want to say all the Thor Sport trucks, but like all the Thor Sport trucks in practice and qualifying were just amazing. They were at the top of the charts in practice and qualifying, and then the race came and they all just kind of faded away. Like they weren't really that big of a factor. I mean, Ben Rhodes finished 3rd, but he wasn't really a threat to win anything, and neither was Ty Majeski. Like they were running up front, but they weren't really a threat to anything. Matt Crafton kind of faded away a little bit, and Hailie Deegan On the restart, she just got put 3 wide, swallowed up through the middle, and just couldn't recover, and then just ended up in that accident on the backstretch.
Yeah, just kind of unfortunate. But one of the drivers that I was kind of eyeing on too was Christian Eckes. I don't know. Eckes in Vegas just seems like his playground because he's always pretty good there. Even last year, he was kind of running up front, and I think he won the race before that. I think 2021.
Because he won it for... Was that when he was driving for KBM, or was he at ThorSport?
ThorSport, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's right.
But, yeah, I mean, Vegas just seems to be his playground, which is kind of good for that team because they've kind of needed a good run like that. I mean, compared to last year, they were kind of, not really in contention for wins. So it's kind of cool to see a team like that to kind of run up front for a change. Yeah. Well, Jake Garcia got a top 10.
That's true. It's his debut, because he came from... I can't remember what series he came from, but this is his debut.
ARCA?
Was it ARCA? I thought it was something else.
Or it might have been like a European series. I don't know. I'm not too sure, but
I'm not too familiar with Jake Garcia, but I do know this was his Truck Series debut.
Which honestly, he looked really good. Because I think he missed Daytona because Elliott was in for him.
Yeah, because Chase Elliott ran the truck race at Daytona. So is he old enough to run Daytona? How old is Jake Garcia?
I think he just turned 18.
Yeah, he might not have been old enough. If that's the case, if he just turned 18, because he's a youngin, as they say.
Yeah.
And same with Max Gutierrez. He was also making his Truck Series debut, I believe, and he took that truck home in the 21st position. So I guess two drivers making their Truck Series debuts this year, and they both put together pretty solid finishes, honestly.
Yeah, not too bad. Jake Garcia, he just turned 18. Sorry, I was looking that up right now.
No, you're good. I knew you were looking that up.
March 3rd, actually.
Oh, so he just turned 18.
He just turned 18 that day.
Wow. Okay. Happy birthday. Damn. Okay.
A nice birthday top 10.
Yeah, dude. Happy birthday. Get a top 10 on your birthday. That's amazing. Look at that. I didn't know that. I would have said happy birthday to him if I known it was his birthday.
Yeah. I think they were talking about it too. I just kind of got sidetracked, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I didn't even know. I didn't hear anything about that. I just knew it was his debut.
What else? A good recovery for Daniel Dye. I mean, he had some issues early on in the race. Kind of worked his way back up to a top 20 finish. Finished 19th. Who else? Raj Karuth. He was running pretty decent. I think he got a pit penalty towards the end of the race. I think the last pit stop.
Yeah,
which kind of a bummer.
For speeding, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of unfortunate. He was running out front for quite a bit of the race. Probably could have got a top 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's in good equipment too, but is he running the full series for trucks, or is he only doing part time in the 24?
He is running the full schedule.
Running the full schedule. Okay, so yeah, they got time to bounce back. Then I'm pretty sure they can probably put something together here pretty soon. But a driver that I'm surprised by is Ross Chastain finishing 24th. I forgot he was in the truck race.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised too because I was kind of hoping, actually not hoping, I was expecting a little bit more out of that team, especially them being a Nice Motorsports truck. So I'm not too sure what happened there, but yeah, just wasn't their day.
I feel like honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think since Ross Chastain left the Truck Series, Nice is they haven't really been as much as a threat as they used to be.
I mean, they've kind of been up there a few races here and there. They've been
up there, but they haven't really been super, super consistent. I think who was the highest finishing Nice truck? It was Hocevar in 7th, wasn't it? Yeah. But
yeah.
I was fully expecting, with Nice being one of the better teams and having Ross Chastain behind the wheel, that man can drive the hell out of anything. I honestly thought that this truck race was going to come down to Kyle Busch and Ross Chastain, but Ross Chastain was nowhere to be found the entire race.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I mean, it's kind of bizarre to see something like that happen because usually Ross is up front, but I don't know. I mean, I can't say that they're not as competitive because I mean Carson Hocevar, he pretty much led the whole entire race.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I just no. I think Busch led most of the race. Where's Hocevar? I mean, Hocevar led a pretty good amount of laps, but I don't know. I'm not getting the dominant vibes from Nice that I used to get.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
maybe
it could be a little
maybe
bit
they'll
different
come back.
too.
It's still early. It's still early. They got time to figure out anything that they got going on there. But I know we mentioned her earlier, but just to kind of wrap back around to Hailie Deegan really fast. I feel like if she just needs to, because I mentioned this last week, I'm pretty sure, or a couple weeks ago. I know I said this at some point where Hailie Deegan just needs to have a good season and put something together. And I think she just needs to try to stay out of trouble a little bit more. Like I haven't seen a replay. I don't really know what happened just because we were working the whole weekend. But I mean, I have seen a replay, but I didn't have a chance to really dissect the replay or really take it in. And I only saw the one angle, that looking head on down the backstretch. So I don't know if there's any other angles of this replay. But she just keeps ending up in these like bizarre scenarios. It's like I don't even think that wreck was her fault. I think she just got turned because they were coming to the end of the stage. I think it was the end of stage 2, the last lap, and they were going like 4 or 5 wide trying to go into 3. And Vegas is a wide racetrack, but you can't go 4 or 5 wide down on the apron and make the turn. So she was just kind of a victim of a crash there. But like, she's just got interesting luck when it comes to trucks, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't her fault, but it's kind of like in those, you got to get yourself out of those situations where if you feel like it's not gonna end well, then you kind of need to back out of it or try to find a way out of it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, she would have a lot of good runs if it wasn't for these wrecks. I mean, Vegas, I feel like she could have rounded up a top 10. Daytona, she was running pretty consistent, running pretty strong, but both of them just ended up in wrecks.
Yeah, and the weird part is like usually it's not her fault. Like most of the time when you look at those replays, it's just victim of circumstance where somebody squeezed her out of room or somebody wrecked in front of her and she had nowhere to go. It's just like it's hard to even put blame on her because it's not that she's doing anything wrong. She just happens to be put in these weird ass scenarios where she just can't get out of it. And like you said, if she was in a weird spot, she probably just should have backed out, as wild as that pack was, because I don't even think she was in position for stage points. I don't think she was in the top 10 at that point. If she was just barely on the outside of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, if it's not for stage points, then yeah, you just kind of need to back out and just take the L.
Yeah, because I don't know. She like, here's my hot take. Here's my hot take on a hot mic. I think honestly, after this season, if there is an opening, they need to put her in an Xfinity car. And I've seen a lot of people say on Twitter, especially Friday night after I was scrolling around, a lot of people saying that Hailie Deegan doesn't need to be in the Truck Series or NASCAR and stuff. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's true. I think Hailie Deegan does have potential to be a good race car driver because she's shown that she's a good race car driver. I just don't think the Truck Series is her place to shine. Like, in her one Xfinity start that she made last year at Vegas, she parked it in the top 10, something like that. I don't remember exactly where she finished, but...
Where? The Xfinity Series?
Yeah, the Xfinity race she ran last year.
12th.
12th. Which even then, that's just outside the top 10, parking it in 12th in your first Xfinity start. You know, she ran a clean race, she ran a great race, and she finished 12th. In her first Xfinity start, having never driven an Xfinity car before. On limited practice. And in the trucks, she just doesn't have the luck. She can't put anything together. She doesn't have good runs. I don't know if it's a team thing. I don't know if it's a truck thing. I don't know what it is. But I feel like if she doesn't have a good season this season, let's just bite the bullet, put her in an Xfinity car, and see how she does. Because we've seen this scenario time and time again where sometimes drivers just don't do well in trucks, and you put them in an Xfinity car, and they blow everyone away. And vice versa, where someone's in a truck, they do amazing, then you move them up to Xfinity, and they just can't hold anything together. Like, sometimes I feel like it's just a serious thing. And so I think if she doesn't have a good season this year, we just need to throw her an Xfinity car, see how she does for a season or two, and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of told you about this earlier, but I was like, you look at Ty Gibbs. He went from ARCA and then just skipped trucks. And, you know, some people might be good at trucks. I mean, if you've seen it before, like, people are good at trucks, and then they go to Cup, and then they're just terrible. Or they go to Xfinity, and they're not that good.
Yeah, look at Johnny Sauter as a shining example of that. The man was a beast in the truck series. They put him in a Busch series car, and the man was upside down. So, he didn't do well in the Busch series, and then he didn't do very well in Cup either. So he went back to trucks and picked up right where he left off, winning races and dominating, so he stayed. Like, sometimes it is just a division thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think so too. It's like, she can have a promising career in the Xfinity series. It's just that, you know, some people aren't good at trucks. Maybe they're not just used to the way they're handling, or the driving style of it. Maybe it's I mean, trucks and Xfinity are just two completely different things. Like, you know, lost my thought. But yeah, I mean, like, trucks and Xfinity are just two different things. So you're always gonna have a different driving style when you go to a different series.
Yeah, and people have said this forever. I think even Michael Waltrip at one point said this, where it's like, the trucks are just so incredibly different from anything NASCAR does, where it's like it's already painfully obvious. It's first of all, it's a truck. Second of all, the way it's built, it's built, you know, it's built like a truck. You know, you park a car next to a truck, it's very obviously different, and the way they cut through the air is different, the way they handle is different. Like, you can kind of compare a Cup car and Xfinity car because, you know, they're both cars, so you can kind of go here and there and take notes off each other and kind of go back and forth on a debate. With a truck, you can't do that. It's not even the same kind of vehicle. It's like, it doesn't work. So it's just so vastly different that I really do think that we just need to put her in an Xfinity car and see how she does. And if she doesn't do well in Xfinity for a season or two, well, let's give it 2 seasons. We'll give her like 1 season so she can kind of, you know, get the hang of it and everything. Maybe a 2nd season to be the true test. And if she really doesn't have good seasons in Xfinity, then we'll probably just kind of go from there and be like, okay, maybe NASCAR's not her thing. But you also remember she came from the dirt world. She came from motocross, right? Because her dad's a motocross driver.
Yeah.
So she grew up on the dirt. And sometimes dirt and asphalt don't mix. So, like, but we need to give her a chance because she's shown potential to be a good driver.
But even, like, in the ARCA series, like, she ran pretty decent. I mean, she ran top 10, top 5. And even in the ARCA West or ARCA East, she ran pretty decent. She got a couple wins under her belt.
She won races down there, too.
Yeah. So it's like,
we know she can win.
Yeah, you know she could win, but it's just a matter of where she's comfortable with.
Yeah, I think the Xfinity series might be a better home for her. And here's my other hot take. I've talked to you about this for weeks, but I don't think I've ever said it publicly. But now that we know Kevin Harvick's retiring, I think they're going to stick Riley Herbst in the 4-car, and then that's the perfect seat for Hailie Deegan to take over. So I think once Harvick goes to the booth, Riley Herbst is going to get moved to the 4-car, and then Hailie Deegan should. I'm saying should because I don't know if they're going to do it, but she should go to the 98.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, only time will tell. Just kind of looking at the truck stuff. Any more things you want to note aside from Kyle's absolute ass whooping that he put on?
No, that's it. I'm good with trucks.
Okay, not much on trucks. All right, well, let's take Xfinity. Okay, well, before we talk about Xfinity, let's look at truck points really fast just to kind of update that. So, I'll probably make it quick here. I don't remember who was leading the points last weekend, so I can't say those are lead change because I don't have my notes in front of me because I didn't make notes. But coming out of Las Vegas, Zane Smith is the points leader, followed by Christian Eckes in second, Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, and Corey Heim rounding out the top 5 in points. 6th with Grant Enfinger, Tanner Gray, Carson Hocevar, Matt Crafton, I think that's 9. And then Tyler Ankrum to round out the top 10. All right. What's on your mind, Chris?
I kind of want to talk about Cole Custer.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
He kind of disappointed me. Not gonna lie. I mean, he finished 12th, and he didn't lead any laps at all. And I don't know. I was expecting a whole lot out of that team because they were, everybody thought that he was gonna come back and just dominate in the Xfinity series. And like what she did in Auto Club, I'll give him that. Like he had the winning car, but Vegas, he kind of just slept on everybody. Like he wasn't really there a lot. He was just kind of running top 15 for a majority of the race. So I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of hoping more out of Cole Custer. I was kind of hoping he would battle with Austin Hill and Allgaier, Chandler Smith. So
yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about Cole Custer. So that really tells you how he performed.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just like they missed something in the setup, but it was just kind of disappointing to see him run that far back.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. I mean, they did really hype up his return to the Xfinity series. There was a lot of hype behind that.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody talks about when they heard them going back to the Xfinity series, they're like, "Oh, this is good for him. Like he's gonna do so well. Like he's gonna be good." And honestly, well, I mean, he did have a good start. I mean, Auto Club he dominated, but if it wasn't for that flat tire, he probably would have won the race. But
that's true. He did have a pretty good contending car.
Yeah, but usually he was just always. I don't know. I think for me, it's just when he was in the Xfinity series, he was always running up front. Like he was competing with Kyle. He was competing for wins every single week. And then now it's today he finished in the top 15. I don't think I even saw him run top 10.
Yeah, I don't know. But, they can't all be bangers. 12th is still a pretty solid placement. But I see what you mean, where it's for the expectations on that team, they kind of didn't meet the expectations that everyone had for them. I don't even think they met the expectations for themselves because, that team also was last time they were running, they were, hauling the mail.
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty dominant, but I kind of see it a positive turnout for these guys because last year they were kind of just out of the picture.
Yeah, oh boy, Cole Custer in general. Yeah, last year a lot of people forgot about Cole Custer last year because they just didn't exist.
Yeah,
but they got time to get their legs back under them. They had a pretty solid run in the Auto Club, like you said, so that's a good confidence boost. I don't think a 12th place finish is going to beat them up too much. I think in Phoenix they should be able to put something together. I don't think they might not win the race, but they definitely might be able to figure something out to get in the top 10.
Yeah, let's see. I could be wrong. They'll probably have a really great run at Phoenix, so we'll see.
Watch them go win Phoenix now. We heard you, Chris, and we were offended. No, for real. They're like, take this, Chris. We're winning now.
We're winning, loser.
They're gonna come out of their way to go find you just to say that to your face.
Cole Custer's gonna find his way in the media center. Where is he at? Where is he?
Where is he?
He's gonna show the trophy. You see this? Whack. I'm just kidding.
I hope I'm filming when that happens. Anyway, speaking of solid finishes, though, Parker Kligerman, the 48 team, parked it in 11th. So, Big Machine Racing continuing to have a pretty solid season.
Yeah, not too bad. Considering what happened to him earlier, he rebounded a great finish after how he started. He spun out early in the race.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, the Xfinity series the Xfinity race Saturday was surprisingly clean. There weren't many incidents, and the incidents that did happen were pretty much just single or two car incidents. Nothing really huge happened.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty clean.
Yeah, and other spins, Raja Caruth, they didn't really bounce back as hard as they probably wanted to, but they got spun out by Joe Graf about halfway through the race, I want to say it was. Or was that toward the end? But at some point they got spun out after contact with Joe Graf, but ended up 26th.
So that's what happened.
Yeah, did you see the clips on Twitter?
No. I honestly haven't checked Twitter like very frequently, so.
Yes. See, oh, that's right, because your Twitter wasn't really loading. Mine was struggling, but it was loading enough. But from what I saw, I cannot confirm nor deny. This is all just from what I heard on good old Bird app and in Rumorville. The TV initially called it a self spin, and from what I saw on the jumbo screen at the track, it looked like a self spin. But I guess Alpha Prime went and found the replays and stuff, and found evidence that there was contact from Joe Graf, and that's what sent Caruth around.
Well, so that kind of sucks.
That's just what I saw. Yeah,
I don't know where he was running before though. Like, was he running top 10, top 15?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the race replay and go back and look. But NASCAR hasn't uploaded any replays at this time, and we're recording this right after the Cup race Sunday, so there really isn't a ton of information on what was going on at the time. This is something I really want to talk about. Kyle Busch finished 4th, which is actually pretty good. Came off a win on Friday, placed it 4th in the Xfinity Series, so that's a pretty solid showing. I know he was hoping to win it, but 4th isn't too bad for that team.
Yeah, and not too bad for a colleague car.
Yeah. Speaking of colleague, you know where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah.
I just want to know what happened to Chandler Smith. Like, that kid also opened a can of whoop-ass that morning, and then he fumbled it. He opened the can, he ate half of it, and then dropped the can. It, slipped out of his fingies.
Yeah, because I even saw it, too. Like, I thought he had it in the bag, and I think when they took the white, I told you this, but, I saw him, dart to the bottom like he was blocking somebody, and then Austin Hill just flies right by him like nothing. I'm like, what? What happened? I don't know if he got loose or he just lost it or what, but the man had it in the bag. He had that race won. So. Oh
my god. Yeah, he just let it over half the race. I think they might have just made a bad adjustment on the last stop, honestly. I think the car was just getting away from him. That's my theory. Once again, I don't really know for sure what happened, but my guess is they just took a bad swing on the car, and Austin Hill made a correct swing on the car, and it just happened to line up so perfectly with the end of that. Ended up being a last lap pass.
Yeah. But, I mean, honestly, I was just surprised. I'm just like, what? I was not expecting Austin Hill win.
No, I wasn't ready for an Austin Hill win either. But honestly, I was surprised how closely the top 3 are running, because I was taking my photos outside the track, and I was coming around out of turn 1, and I looked over at the scoring pylon, and I saw, 16, 21, and 7. And I was like, okay, so those are the leaders. And then I looked down at the track, and I saw where they were all running, and they were all nose to tail for the last 10 laps. And I was like, damn, they're on top of each other. So I'm surprised how close that race was.
I didn't even realize that. I think I was in the front stretch when I was towards the final laps.
Yeah, because we were both on the front stretch, but they were on top of each other for the last handful of laps. I think Kyle was they would come by, and it was Smith, Hill, Allgaier, all within less than a second, and then you would wait a couple seconds, a couple lap cars would go by, and then along came Kyle Busch a good 3 or 4 seconds later. So, the top 3 were just, eating each other up. And Kyle was just kind of, there in the background.
He was having a good time.
Yeah, he's just having a good time. But especially as long as that race went green, because that final run to the checkered was a long green flag run. And so for the top 3 to be that close together, that also really shows you how competitive that Xfinity field can be, even with long green flag runs. The fact that we had a last lap pass, or coming to the white, so it might as well have been a last lap pass, and the top 3 all on top of each other after that long of a run.
The Xfinity Series always puts on a good show, though.
They do.
Every race that I pretty much attended or watched, it's always a good finish. So, and which a lot of people were kind of upset because I think they made some adjustments to like the cars or something like that, which changed it up just a little bit, and people were kind of worried that they weren't going to be as racy as they used to be. But overall, I thought the racing was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I think they'll be fine, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's just people jumping the gun on overreacting, which, we're all pretty good at doing that. It's easy to get worried. But, yeah, just it was a really close Xfinity race, too. And you know what? Had they widened it up at the end, Kyle Busch could have won that, too, because that's how close they all were. Like, if there was contact between Hill and Smith, with how close Allgaier was, there's a chance Allgaier could have gotten swept up in it, too. Then we would have seen a Kyle Busch 2 in a row. But thankfully that didn't happen. Not thankfully that Kyle Busch didn't win, but thankfully they didn't wad it up because they were, like when I say they were on top of each other, they were on top of each other, my guy. They were all right there. It was incredible to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I only saw them like all close together, like towards like the last 2 laps, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it was just a great race.
Yeah, so, congrats to Austin Hill. Unfortunate that Chandler Smith dropped the can of whoop ass right at the end, but that's racing. That's why we watch till the end, because it's not over till it's over.
So. Yep. It ain't over till it's over.
But, yeah. So, any notes you got on Xfinity?
Nothing really. I mean, I think we pretty much hit everything that we wanted to talk about.
Okay. Oh, wait, here's a fun fact. Only one DNF in the Xfinity race, too. Everyone finished except for Joey Gase.
Wow. Excuse me. Yeah, it's kind of surprising.
It is. I mean, it's good, though. I like seeing a lot of cars running at the finish. That means it's a good competitive field. It also means that it wasn't a wreck fest. So
that's always good.
Yeah, and so let's take a peek at Xfinity Points if you're ready.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, Xfinity Points, with the win, that does put Austin Hill in the lead of the points. So, Austin Hill currently leading Xfinity Points, followed by John Hunter Nemechek, Justin Allgaier, Chandler Smith, 3, 4, and Riley Herbst to round out the top 5. In 6th place on the points, we got Josh Berry, Sam Mayer, Joe Graff Jr., Parker Kligerman, and I think Cole Custer rounds out the top 10 here. Sorry. If you hear me mumbling numbers and counting, it's because I don't have the official graphic made yet, so I'm going off my little my list here, which doesn't actually have numbered placements next to them. So pretty sure Cole Custer is in 10th, and that will round out the top 10.
I noticed that Austin Hill is the first multiple winner this season.
Mm-hmm. 2 wins.
2 wins for Austin Hill.
That reminds me. Here's another fun nugget. RCR currently has won every single weekend this season so far.
That's true.
Because
I remember you talking about that.
Xfinity Daytona. Yeah, because I haven't talked about it on the podcast yet, but I mentioned it to you and to Mike earlier today at the track. And because Austin Hill won Xfinity Daytona, Kyle Busch won Cup Auto Club, and then they won the Xfinity Vegas. So RCR has a win every single weekend so far.
That's a great start for them.
Go. It is a wonderful start. This is the RCR Renaissance.
Honestly, it just is a great start for Chevy.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because Chevy won all 3 races this weekend.
You're right, they did. How many did they win? Oh no, Toyota won the Xfinity race last weekend. And Daytona, it was... Who won the Truck Daytona? That was... trying to remember who won Truck Daytona now. It feels like a long time ago, and it really wasn't. Zane Smith, and he drives a Ford. Okay. But yeah, Chevy's won the most races so far this season because Chevy won Xfinity and Cup Daytona. They then went to Auto Club and won the Cup race, and then they won all 3 races this weekend. So yeah, I guess Chevy's bouncing back.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
Yeah, Chevy's doing pretty good. I mean, for picking up Kyle, I would say they're doing pretty well.
Oh yeah. Maybe just having Kyle Busch is the magic ingredient, apparently.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I was trying to say, like, like Chevy's been on top of their game, not just like for RCR, but like Hendrick Motorsports, they're starting to do better, and then like Trackhouse, they're starting to perform a lot better. So it's just it's crazy.
Yeah, this might be the year of the Chevy drivers that we're rolling up into. But
and then just looking at the top 5, they're all Chevys for Xfinity.
Are they really? Because I left the Xfinity results page, so I don't have that open in front of me at the moment.
The entire top 5 is all Chevy.
What's the first manufacturer that isn't a Chevy? Where did they place?
Toyota. They place 6, right outside.
Oh, okay. Okay. So just the top 5. Got it. But still impressive.
But I mean, they have like 8 Chevys in the top 10.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Chevy definitely did their homework during the offseason and came back this year and said, you know what? It's my turn in the spotlight.
It's my turn to have fun.
Speaking of Hendrick Motorsports, when you brought that up a few moments ago, 1, 2, 3 in the Cup race, all Hendrick cars.
Yeah. I mean, pretty dominant year for them. I mean, not year, but pretty dominant race for them. I mean,
oh my God, yeah.
Besides missing Chase Elliott, but
well, you want to get that out of the way now, or do you want to?
Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
Right. Because we can't end this podcast without talking about it.
Yeah.
That would be a crime.
I'll let you kind of.
Oh, you want me to lead this one? Okay. So, in case you live under a rock, Chase Elliott was injured snowboarding Friday morning, I think it was, is when he had his injury. And so Hendrick Motorsports made the announcement that Josh Berry would be replacing him in the 9 car, which, is a huge opportunity for Josh Berry to have that. But one thing I do want to talk about in terms of the Chase Elliott thing is just the amount of people who are mad about it. And not like mad that it happened, but like mad that Chase Elliott was snowboarding. I'm just like, why are we mad that he is snowboarding? Like, why is this a problem? The man's allowed to live his life.
Like, I don't know. Like, the way I see it, it's like, it's his job. It's his job to be a race car driver.
Yeah.
Did he choose it? He did. But everybody's entitled to have their own vacation, to do their own thing. It's the same thing like for us. So we have our jobs, and say like, we go out snowboarding or we go do something, we get hurt. That's got to put us out. Yeah. Are we going to get yelled at for doing something, outside of work? No. Should we be yelled at? No. And same for everybody else, like who works like a, let's just say like, they work an office job. And they go out, like, you know what, I'm going to go out to the mountains over the weekend and go snowboarding. They get injured. Now they can't go to work. Is it fair for them to get yelled at for doing something on their day off? No.
No.
Like, it's just, I don't know. I get what people are saying, like, they're a race car driver, like, they shouldn't be, I mean, not shouldn't be, but, like, they should kind of, take their health a little bit more under precaution, but you can't just stop somebody from doing something that, they want to do for fun. So,
yeah, I mean, he also flies planes, so, like, you can't tell him he can't fly the plane anymore, but, like, I mean, he can't fly the plane now because he's injured, but, like, that's not the point. The point is, like, we can't just, like, you expect... Do people think that these drivers don't have lives outside of driving the race car? It's like you said. It's like we have jobs, we have hobbies. I'm pretty sure the people making those comments have jobs and hobbies. So it's like you might work a 9-to-5 office job, but that doesn't mean you're not allowed to have fun. It's like Rick Hendrick doesn't just keep Chase Elliott in a cage and let him out on race weekends. I feel like that'd be kind of weird. So, like, the man has to have some kind of hobbies or do something.
Yeah.
You can't. He doesn't live in a cage. He's got a life. He's got friends. He's got things to do. It's like, it was his day off. He wasn't doing anything Friday. And Las Vegas is only 4 hours away from Fontana, so it's like, why wouldn't you go snowboarding? They've been having blizzards over in California.
Well,
You're
actually,
down
he was
there.
in
You've got the
Colorado.
weather. Oh, he was in Colorado? Okay,
But I mean,
sorry.
it's
I didn't
on
know
the
where
way
he
there.
was. Yeah, yeah, but you know what I mean. The point is, it's like, if you don't have anything to do that day, you're not scheduled to be anywhere, you're not scheduled to do anything, the Mother Nature is just drowning everybody in snow. You happen to like snowboarding, why not go snowboarding? Like, that would just make sense. Like, why not go snowboarding? Like, he doesn't know he's going to get injured. Like, you
It's the
can't
same thing
prepare
when you
for
drive a
those
car,
things.
too.
Those things just kind of happen. Exactly. He could have gotten injured driving the race car. Like, it did, like, and I see no difference.
I don't know.
It just baffles me. People just want to lock him in a cage and, like, you can't do anything. It's like, he's going to lose his mind. You can't.
It's the same
just
thing
not
with
do
everybody
anything.
else. Like, they're gonna lose their mind
Yeah.
just like thinking about work. Like, you can't do that. You can't just kook somebody in a shell and just be like, all right, you're stuck here forever. You can't do that, because then they're just gonna get tired of it. They're gonna be like, I don't want to do this anymore. And that's that.
Because they're gonna be like, I have no freedom, and then they're gonna leave. It's just like, if you want Chase Elliott to be a race car driver, you need to let him have his hobbies outside of driving the race car. Because if Rick Hendrick came to Chase Elliott and said, hey, you're not allowed to do anything that could potentially be dangerous, except for driving the race car, he's gonna either leave Hendrick Motorsports or retire from NASCAR. Because, like, he's a human who has interests and he wants to go do things, so we can't stop him from doing that. Like, he knows the risk. Everybody knows the risks of what they do. And it's like other people have been saying on Twitter, too. They've been like, he could have gotten hurt walking down the street. He could have woken up and fallen out of his bed. He could have slipped on ice and busted his ass in the driveway and gotten hurt. It's like, it's like you can't prepare for these things. They just kind of happen.
It sucks.
So critiquing
but,
the man for doing something he wants to do, you can't do that.
It sucks, but I mean, you can't do anything about it. If it happens, it happens. You gotta live with it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but you know what? People will move on.
Yeah, and the good news is that he's okay. He went under surgery Friday night. I think he was released Saturday morning, if I remember the report correctly.
Yeah.
And so,
After a 3-hour surgery.
Yeah, so he's currently at home recovering, and so I'm hoping that he heals up good. And the other thing, I hope they don't rush him back, is the other thing, because I don't want him to re-injure himself. And so I would much rather that they keep him out of the car as long as they feel like they have to make sure that his leg gets okay, so he doesn't get back in a car and re-injure himself after coming back too soon. That's another thing that I don't want them to do.
And I don't think they'll do that. I mean,
No.
drivers have. I mean, Kyle Busch went through something similar like that.
Kyle broke both of his legs.
Yeah.
What happened to Kyle was arguably worse, but
But I mean, like, I think because Kyle said he's reached out to him to help him out and get him through the whole process. But I think he's gonna take the steps to make sure that when he comes back, he'll be 100%.
yeah, and I hope they do that, because I'd much rather have a healthy Chase Elliott than a like 80% Chase Elliott who gets hurt again. But I think Rick Hendrick's the kind of guy he's got a good head on his shoulders. I'm pretty sure he'll I don't think he's going to push Chase to do anything too dramatic, and just knowing how mellow Chase is, I don't think Chase is going to do anything dramatic, and so I think every party involved is going to make sure that he's 100% okay before he gets back in a race car.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think they're gonna take the steps to kind of say like, all right, you need to hurry up, come back, and then
Yeah.
take the risk of him getting hurt even more. So
Yeah. And while we're still on the subject of Chase Elliott, Josh Berry did sub for him. And I don't know if it's because Josh Berry has never even sat in a next-gen car before, or if there was something going on with the car. Because I did see the hood up on pit road for the 9 car of Josh Berry, but they did not perform at all nearly even close to what the rest of the Hendrick cars were doing. And I'm very confused as to what happened there.
yeah, I mean, there could have been something mechanically wrong with it, but I mean, then again, you have to understand, like, this is a guy that runs an Xfinity car. Like you say, he's
Yeah.
never run a next gen car, so I'm sure he
Never even
drives.
sat in a next-gen car, I don't think.
Yeah, it drives way differently than an Xfinity car, so I'm sure it was a big culture shock for him just to kind of get the feel of it. And then not only that, but he only gets like a half an hour in the car. So
It wasn't even half an hour. I think it was like a 20-minute practice session, something like. Was it 15 minutes? Or did they extend
I
it?
think it was 30.
Oh,
Or it might have
okay.
been 20. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know. But still, it's like
it
it's not enough time for.
doesn't matter. It's still not a lot of time. Yeah.
Not only that, he has to learn a new shifting. I guess new gearbox, I should say, but
Yeah.
he's going from an H pattern to a sequential. So I mean, I'm sure it's definitely different for him to get used to. And then not only that, but just like the handling of the car is just going to be so much different to what he's used to in Xfinity. So,
Yeah. I I think it's just I think it was just an unfortunate combination of he woke up Friday morning and found out he was going to drive the 9 car, had zero time to prepare, only got half an hour of practice. So it's like the man had no time to prepare. Has never driven the car before, and then it looks like they were having engine problems on top of that based on the fact that the hood was up a couple times. And so I think it was just whiplash for Josh Berry to go from an Xfinity car to a Cup car in which he has never even sat in, has no experience in, and on top of that was having mechanical issues. And so I know Josh Berry is a good driver. I think this is just a mulligan race for him. I think it was just the perfect storm of everything going wrong. And so if they haven't announced it officially yet, they might make an announcement here in the next handful of days on who's going to drive it at Phoenix. I think by the time this podcast comes out, because we're currently recording this on Sunday night, by the time this is posted Wednesday, they might have made an announcement. But just assuming that they keep a Josh Berry in the car, I think that he's going to get better the more races he has in the 9 car, just because this was just thrown into his lap out of the blue. And I think the more seat time he gets, the better they'll get. So I'm not super worried about them right now.
I think he's more focused on the Xfinity side. I think he's just doing this to kind of cover Elliott in the time being, but
Yeah, I'm not gonna be worried until they have a good number of races under them and they're still struggling. But like I already said, this was just thrown at the man out of left field. There was no way he could have prepared for it. And then, like I said, hood was up, so it was just a terrible weekend all around for the 9 team. But I think they can bounce back. I'm not gonna worry until I need to worry, and we got a lot of time until we need to worry. So,
well, not only that, but like Elliott had a good run at Auto Club too. He finished second, so I think he'll be fine. I think the whole team will be okay, just based on the runs that they had before.
yeah, I think they'll be fine. They just need a little bit of a Band-Aid, a little bit of time, and then they'll bounce back. They're pretty good at that. And so let me see. Let me scroll through my thing. Oh, Joey Logano finishing dead last was something I was not prepared for.
Yeah, the only car that DNF'd.
Yeah. Once again, only one DNF in the entire race, and it was Joey Logano, and that was my pick. So I had a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting that. I mean, I was kind of expecting more wrecks from today, to be honest, but I wasn't expecting him to be the only car that wrecked out. But look at the video; it's kind of out of his hands because I think he got run up the track by, I think it was Keselowski.
He got run up the track by Brad.
Yeah. So it was just kind of out of his hands, and then he just spun out. And I think once he hit the grass, he just completely demolished the diffuser, and he was pretty much.
Oh, the grass launched him.
Yeah.
My guy got some airtime.
Watching him go through 3 and 4, not 3 and 4, 1 and 2, the diffuser just looked completely damaged. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at the replay right now because I remembered that. I think NASCAR put a replay up. Yeah, he just got doored by Keselowski. I don't think Brad must have not known he was there because he came up the track like he wasn't there.
That, or he just ran out of room because I think he was 3 wide with Kyle on the bottom.
Yeah, he was 3 wide with Kyle on the bottom, but no, even actually, you know what? Now that I'm looking at the replay, somebody must have not gotten information here because Kyle came pretty high up off the corner, and then Brad came high off the corner. So either somebody's spotter didn't say they were 3 wide, or something had to have happened there because that's a weird crash from how I'm looking at it right now. It almost looks to me like Brad just didn't know he was there, the way they came up off the corner, or Kyle didn't know that Joy was up there and he came off the corner like he would have too wide. But that's just a weird looking wreck to me now that I'm looking at the replay. It looks like somebody just didn't get information in time.
Yeah, it just could have been a miscommunication, and then that's what probably caused it.
Well, that's unfortunate for the 22 team, but God, you know what? I didn't think about this earlier, and I probably should have thought about it earlier. But Hendrick Motorsports has won the last 3 races in Vegas, the spring Vegas race.
That's right.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, and then Bowman won it last year, and then now Byron. I'm so used to it being just a Penske playhouse because Penske's always so strong here.
Yeah, I mean, it is their playhouse because, like, even before Logano, Keselowski won it.
Yeah, Keselowski was winning it. Didn't Blaney win it once? No, I don't think he did.
No, he's never won it at Vegas.
No, he's never won it. Yeah, that's true. It was always like Keselowski or Logano, and so it was the Penske playhouse for a long time. And then I guess after 2020, it became the Hendrick Motorsport. Actually, no, it even then still was the Penske playhouse. They just couldn't win it because even when the Hendrick cars were winning it, the Penske cars were still very, very present in those races.
I mean, they were still up there though, because I think Blaney was still running up front with them. Cindric surprisingly finished 6th, because I mean, I didn't really hear from him at all today. Like, I didn't really think
very quietly put together a good run.
Yeah, he did. So, and it kind of sucks for his teammate Blaney because, I mean, he was running up front for a little bit and then finished 13th.
Blaney finished 13th, yeah. Yeah, that was, interesting day to be a Penske driver, but very quietly put together a fairly decent day, and then you got Logano on the bottom of the pile, so it's like, we did not see the Penske dominance that we're used to seeing here in the spring Vegas race.
Yeah. Usually you're used to that stuff, but yeah, not today. I mean, Logano didn't really look that quick today either, which was kind of weird.
No, he didn't. He fell off the lead real quick.
Yeah, because I was going to say he kind of just fell back for quite a bit.
And then he kept going backwards, which is what was weird to me, because it's like he started on the pole. They were fast all weekend in terms of practice and qualifying. And then they took the green flag for the race, and the man just disappeared. Like, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird for him to see him run like that, because I always think Logano would be like the most dominant driver. Not even just dominant, but just like, consistent driver here at Vegas, because he's always good. But yeah, it was just weird to see him struggle.
The reasons you just listed is the reason why I picked him to win. He's always been just amazing in Vegas. He was like, Michael picked me? Nah. Good night, everyone.
Let's launch this thing.
Speaking of quietly having a good day, though, Tyler Reddick finally finished the race. He did it. Round of applause for Tyler Reddick. Yay! They did something good for once.
I mean, he needed it. He finished 15th. Yeah.
Yeah, 15th. They really needed that. They really needed that run.
Yeah.
It's not anything to write home about 15th, but like the season they've been having, I'd be celebrating a 15th place finish. Yeah. 2 DNFs, and then they couldn't even practice or qualifying because the engine was broken.
I know. I that was like I was just like this is like the worst start of the year for Reddick. He's DNF'd the first 2 races, and then he comes to Vegas, and not even like before practice, it's like, oh, the car doesn't work, so we can't do practice or qualifying. So I'm sure he was just like,
plugged it back in, and it still didn't go.
Yeah. They're like, well, reboot didn't fix it. We got a bigger problem. Yeah. This is just a win for him, honestly, because, like I said, just the way they started off the whole year, it was just absolutely terrible. So it was good to see them have a decent finish.
Oh yeah, because I was thinking about that during the race. Like, I would, whenever the caution came out, I would go look to make sure that the 45 was still on the track. And they missed the last lap break, I'm pretty sure, didn't they? I think they got through that.
Yeah, they did. They got through that. I think Elliott, not Elliott, AJ, Priest, and the 34 got involved.
Brad was in it too, the 6.
Oh, was he? Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I think they just got. I think he was the one who just mushed the 34 against the wall.
Yeah.
Because from the replay that I saw in the angle, it looked like Allmendinger just lost it. It looked like Allmendinger just went around. Priest had nowhere to go, and then I think Brad and McDowell had contact, just trying to avoid it all. Just mushed each other into the wall. I don't know who mushed who. I have to look at the replay, but I know they got mushed into the wall at some point. Yeah, but how do you feel about NASCAR not throwing the yellow for that? Because I've seen. I want to hear your opinion on this before I put my 2 cents in, since you made me talk about Elliott first. But I've seen people backing and forthing on Twitter tonight about NASCAR not throwing the yellow
For the wreck in the backstretch.
Yeah.
I didn't know they didn't throw the yellow.
Yeah, no, they let him race back. The yellow, the lights never came on, the flag never waved. So
that's kind of concerning. Just I don't know. I think they should just throw the yellow because I mean, you have cars wrecking in the back. I mean, I don't know because I've heard 2 different sides of the stories. Like I've heard not 2 different sides. Let me go back. The caution before that they threw it for Almirola, which people were kind of like, why would they throw it for him? Because I think all he did was just bounce off the wall. I think.
I think the contact was a little bit harder than people saw because from what I saw, he did a little half spin. The tail end caught the tail of the car caught the wall and it came up and slapped it. And I did see some pieces come off the car. So I understand them throwing the yellow for Almirola because people are running the high lane in turns 3 and 4, and if parts did come off that car, all it takes is something sharp enough to cut a tire down and cause a different problem. And so I think that was a precautionary yellow just to make sure that there wasn't any debris up on the track because he did smack the wall and bend some things in. So that yellow I can understand.
Okay, that makes sense. I think they should have just threw the caution because, I mean, you have cars wrecking in the back. I mean, whether they stopped or not, you have cars spinning. And you can't just guess if they're going to keep going because what if they never kept going? Those guys are carrying so much speed and then, they're flying by those guys on the backstretch, So I think they should just throw the caution, honestly.
Yeah. See, the reason I'm going to agree with you here is because we had a driver get hit pretty hard in the door. That was a driver's side impact into the door, and so it's had Allmendinger just lost it and spun, and maybe McDowell and Keselowski got mushed in just the avoidance, and they kept digging, I would have been fine. But Allmendinger did spin and get hit in the door. I think he did keep going because he did finish the race.
Yeah, because I think he stopped for a little bit, but then he kept going afterwards. Yeah, because
he got the car restarted.
He passed Byron when he did his burnout.
Oh yeah, so he was. But I mean,
they still passed him when he was on the backstretch.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just it wasn't a terrible wreck, but then again, I feel if contact is hard enough, you probably should throw the yellow. But it's I don't think he ever stopped. I think he spun it out and then kept it going. So it's one of those things. I feel it is a judgment call on NASCAR's part, but we also did have a driver's side impact that was pretty hefty because Priest went barreling in there. I don't think he realized because the spin happened pretty quick, so I don't think Priest had a ton of time to react because Allmendinger just kind of appeared in front of him. Not really much you can do in that scenario, and so when you're at speed and get hit in the door, that kind of hurts a little bit, even if the cars are safe. But I don't know. It's just one of those weird wrecks where it wasn't a terrible accident, but there was also a driver's side impact. So I don't know. I really don't know. I feel they probably could have thrown the yellow for that because it was a pretty decent-sized accident.
I think they could have, too. I mean...
Yeah. I just found the replay on Twitter. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, that probably should have been a yellow now that I'm looking at it. There were more calls involved than I thought. Yeah, the 16 he went around. He did get hit pretty good. And then the 34 got turned up into Eric Jones. I can't see who that teal car is. It looks like Austin Dillon and Brad Keselowski got turned. So, yeah, no, that was a pretty big wreck. So, yeah, no, they should have thrown the yellow for that. That was a big wreck. Yeah, no, I feel that could have been a yellow. Yeah, because we had a driver's side impact. We had Michael McDowell got turned by Briscoe, who then hit Eric Jones. I think Brad Keselowski got turned by Austin Dillon trying to avoid it. So, that was just a huge stack up on the backstretch. That should have been a yellow.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I thought the yellow was thrown, but yeah, they should have just thrown it because of regular.
Because at that point, Byron was going to win the race anyway. So
yeah, I mean, if you already have a driver that's like has like a 3-car length lead, just throw it. There's no need to keep it green.
Yeah, no. Yeah, looking at this replay, I'm going to send you the link really fast. You can look at it, but look how big that crash was and how hard Allmendinger got hit.
Oh, yeah, there's quite a bit of cars. Yeah, they should just thrown it. There's no need to.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in that crash. I feel like they could have... I wouldn't have been mad if they threw the yellow for that. I feel like that warranted a yellow if they had thrown it.
Yeah. You just don't need stuff like that. You don't need to keep it green. Like I said, if the car has if the leader has a 2 or 3 car length, just throw it. Now, if it was just like one car that kind of just spun, maybe you can get away with it. But with the guy with AJ getting hit in the door and then just everybody else just spinning out, just throw it. There's no need to
just piling into it. We had like 4 other cars crash as that was happening too. Like had Allmendinger just spun out, not hit anything, and nobody hit him, then keeping it green that would have been fine because it's just a single car spin, no contact. That would have been great. Even if somebody else had spun trying to avoid it, like I was saying earlier, like had Allmendinger spun, not gotten hit, and then McDowell had made contact with Eric Jones and they kept going, that would have been fine with no yellow. But the fact that we had driver side impact and then like 4 other cars crashed trying to avoid it, I think I wouldn't have been mad about a yellow on that. Right. Got any other notes on Cup? Anything you want to cover? Because honestly, it was a pretty squeaky clean race till the end.
Yeah, it was a pretty clean race. I really don't have anything else. I think that's it.
Well, in that case, let's skedaddle on into the fun little points. So for Cup Series points, we did have another lead change. I think Ross Chastain was leading the points last weekend after the Auto Club. But coming into Vegas, Alex Bowman now takes over the points lead over Ross Chastain, dropping a second, followed by Suarez, Harvick, and Kyle Busch in the top 5. To round out the top 10, we have Denny Hamlin sitting in 6th, followed by Martin Truex Jr., Ricky Stenhouse, Christopher Bell, and Chris Buescher for the top 10 there.
Oh wow, Buescher's in the top 10 too.
Yeah, just barely. He's in there. He's 10th. Anybody you wanna take a peek at while I got the little point sheet open?
Where's Reddick at?
Reddick, I mean, he gained a couple spots, so he's no longer last. But okay, why did you pick Reddick? I gotta do a lot of counting. Hold on.
Pick the worst one.
Give me a second. You really did. I was like, God damn it. If I counted right, he is 22nd on the DVR points sheet now. That can't be right. Hold on. Did I count this right? Maybe I'm stupid. Hold on. Give me a second. Maybe I forgot how to count. I said Chris Buescher at 10th, right? Yeah. Oh, he's 32nd. Sorry. I counted 1 from 10. That's my bad. He's 32nd. He is 32nd on the DVR points sheet.
I'm going to say, holy shit, he's skyrocketed.
Yeah, no, I was like, I looked at it and I was like, that doesn't look right. And it's because I apparently don't know how to count from 10. So I learned. I figured it out.
The person that's last in the point standings is Ty Dillon.
How is Corey LaJoie running so much better than Ty Dillon? And they allegedly have the same equipment.
Corey LaJoie is 18th.
I know. Corey LaJoie is doing amazing. What's going on with that 77 car? But it is barely existing.
Yeah.
Where did Corey finish today? He finished... Oh, shit. He finished 20th. Look at him go. Yeah, Corey LaJoie finished 20th and Ty Dillon finished 34th. So I don't know what's going on with that 77 team.
Yeah, they've been off. So I don't know. I mean, then again, that the 77 has always been like a temporary car. Not temporary, but like it's always had like part-time drivers. So
yeah, I don't know either. They got to figure something else out, but I don't know. On the DVR points sheet, I got Jimmy Johnson sitting in last. All right, so there's the points. So now looking ahead to Phoenix, the way we're basing picks now, just to kind of make it a little bit fair, is we're letting pick first whoever has the best average finish from their picks the previous weekend, and so my picks had an average finish of, what did I say, 12.6, because Joey Logano finished last and he brought my average down. And so you you, sir, had the best average finish this weekend in Vegas, and so you got some picks lined up for Phoenix?
Let's see. So, are we doing ARCA too or no?
Not really. I wasn't gonna make an ARCA pick. I was just gonna focus on Xfinity and Cup.
Okay. So for Xfinity, I'm going to pick John Hunter Nemechek
You're going John Hunter for
Phoenix.
Xfinity? Okay.
Yeah. And then for Cup, I'm going to pick I'm gonna sound like a clown, but Ryan Preece.
Okay. You know what? I feel like that's a pretty solid pick, honestly. Why are you picking Priest? You got a reason?
Just because I saw Briscoe do well there last year, and I feel like Priest, he's been pretty good, but just has a lot of bad luck. I think he can pull it off. I think Stewart Haas has something up their sleeve for Phoenix. I think they can get the job done.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. My picks, I think for Xfinity, just because they run good there and he's done pretty well. My gut tells me to go with Josh Berry. I really want to go Josh Berry because Junior Motorsports has been pretty solid at Phoenix, and so yeah, I'm gonna go Josh Berry for Xfinity.
Okay.
For Cup, I was also thinking of Stuart Haas driver, but I wasn't gonna go with Priest. I was actually looking at Harvick.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, because last year he did pretty good, very quietly in the top 5, if I remember correctly. And Phoenix has always been a good track for him. And with his retirement season, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to try to bring some good cars for him. And so I think Kevin Harvick has a pretty good shot at winning Phoenix.
Okay. That's a good pick. I was debating whether or not to pick Briscoe or Priest, but I feel like Priest is... I think he's a great driver. It's just a lot of bad luck has been happening for him. And he's turned that 41 team all around by a lot. Mm-hmm. That team was just like, mid-20s last year. Now he's kind of helped bring it back in the picture. So we'll just kind of see how they do next week.
So any other notes that you want to look over? Anything you want to tackle?
I'm going to do something different. Who do you think's going to get the pole for Xfinity?
Oh, the pole. Okay, you're really throwing me a curveball. So for the pole, I'm gonna say I don't know about Xfinity yet. I gotta think about that for a second, but I'm gonna say Kyle Larson gets the pole for Cup.
Okay,
that's my pole for Cup. Xfinity, that's a hard one. That's a difficult one. I'm gonna go another junior motorsports driver. I think Sam Mayer. That one car's been pretty good.
Sam Mayer. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good pick. I guess I'll start off the same way for Cup. I think Ross Chastain for Cup. And then for Xfinity, let's go with Chandler Smith.
Okay, that's a pretty solid pick. Okay, so now that we've done polls, anything else you want to tackle, or are you about ready to wrap up here then?
I think I'm ready to wrap up.
So if you guys have made it this far into the podcast, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed. And remember, you guys can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Donohue_Vargas to see when we post our picks and any other fun shenanigans that we deal with. And with that, we're going to wrap this up here, and we'll see you guys after Phoenix.
See ya.